Hello everyone, we're going to try this again. My name's Jack Heslin, and my company is called J3D. It's in the 3D printing industry, and this is our first use of the Periscope app. So bear with us if it gets a little bumpy. I'm not used to doing these things live. I've certainly done plenty of presentations and recordings, but this is a new experience. So just very brief about me. I spent about 2 years in the 3D printing industry working at MakerBot from August of 2013 to October 2015. I left the company and then began my own reseller distributorship of desktop 3D printers. So I very proudly say that J3D still carries MakerBots, carries the Airwolfs, carries a Mendelmax printer out of the RepRap community. And of course, we also have customers who come to us for 3D printing services and 3D scanning services. But the direction that J3D is going to go in, the goal here is to be a resource, to be a guide for people who are already in, companies that are already in 3D printing, those who are looking to do more with this technology, and our goal is to help them get really the most bang for the buck. What is the best decision they can make among this very fast-changing, fast-growing field, so that they can get the right 3D printing resources for them, whether it's a manufacturer, an architect, a school, what have you. To that end, on a daily basis, we expect to be providing updates on what is going on in the industry that we think is pretty relevant. Now, just so you're aware of it, what I do to stay on top of things is I read books, but every morning I look over the 3dprintingindustry.com newsletter. It's typically 8 to 10 articles. I scan the headlines. I pick 2 to 3 to read that I think my customers would find most interesting. And last week, I saw an announcement about Fuji Film and how Fuji Film is leveraging their expertise in one area to provide a in my opinion, much needed service in the growing area of 3D printing. And this jumped out at me for 2 reasons. One is, I think the industry could really use something like this. If you go read the newsletter, 3dprintingindustry.com, search on Fuji, you'll see the article. They talk about having 500 technicians around the country, installation, repair, spare parts, but they're not brand specific. They're brand neutral. So if you have an environment where you've got some MakerBots and maybe a Dimension, maybe a Formlabs, or maybe one's on the way, they're not saying they're only going to support one over the other. So this could really simplify for the end user the whole support experience. The other reason it jumped out at me is I worked for Sprint, the telecom carrier, in the late 90s. And I actually got to work a little bit with Fuji Film because they were a Sprint account. And the service that we provided was the toll-free routing. You see, Fuji Film has these photo processing equipment in Walmarts and other retailers around the country, thousands of them. And the retailers who are running the photo equipment would call the toll-free number into Fuji Film's help desk for technical support, spare parts, making sure things keep up and running. And it was actually a pretty complicated system. It worked really well, but the Sprint end of it was that we just provided a pretty complex toll-free routing pattern, time of day, geography, area code, and as the time zones changed across the country, those toll-free numbers had to keep getting rerouted. It worked extremely well. And when I saw that article last week, I thought, what an outstanding example of a company that has an expertise in one area, call centers, technical support, all the toll-free routing, and leveraging that expertise into a whole new industry with an excellent future in front of it. So I thought that was just a terrific thing to share. So in my opinion, it's a service the industry needs and will start to rely on. It's with a company that already has this foundation already built. For those of you who aren't familiar with it, I do find 3dprintingindustry.com to be a good newsletter, even though I reached out to them 3 times, I think, in the fall to be one of their writers, and they never did get back to me, but we can skip over that. That's fine. So if you're looking to keep up on it, keep up on the industry, I do recommend them as a good resource. So to wrap it up, my name is Jack Heslin. You can visit my website at j3dservices.com to see the printers we carry, the services we offer. If you want to reach out, give me a call at 844-J3D-MAKE, or just go to our contact page, fill in the info, and we will call you ASAP. Thank you. We'll talk to you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.